What's up, guys? OG2K here, and today we are going to be playing as weird as we possibly can in a MUT head-to-head ranked game here. We have the Miami Dolphins offensive playbook, and we will be running the same exact play, every single play on defense. That way, we know where to switch stick, who to switch stick on, and we're easily just gonna shed with our 4 double or nothings in the nickel 2-4 in the New Orleans Saints defensive playbook. So a lot of stuff going on here. We will be coming out with the ebook very, very soon. Set our safeties on close and pinch. Curl flats, the purple zones are on 5s. That way, the vertical hooks do not match as much. And then beautiful cover 4 shell, and then scroll down to cover 3 cloud on the right. Versus under center, pinch, crash up, contain, show blitz with your linebackers, deep half that trip side, and then hover over the center, loop around to where the run is. Beautiful. The run's taken away. Single back trio made popular by Juan, the Regs player, otherwise known as FMB Monster. Nito gets a bag on PL. He runs he runs the ball. So he you know what? We just gotta stop the run first and then make him pass, and it's over. He can't pass. So what you do, you hover over the center. All right, we forgot to put in Porter and Bates. So now that we have Porter and Thornton on the team, our 50 Commanders theme team for Krosky Merritt. Beautiful. Look at that D line, man. We're doing nothing out here. We're just switch sticking around, hoping that we could take away his routes. We pick up on our, the tendencies that they have on the routes, actually. So, that's something that we're doing. We're just, they're going to see the same thing every time. Notice how we're pinched up and crashed up, or pinch, crash up, contain, and then loop around to where the run is. Try and dive in there. We missed the dive, but he is not able to get a big play out of it. So that is really, really fine with me there. So as long as we could get him into like passing situations, and limit the easy yards. Beautiful. Bullock sheds off of his blocker on the RPO, trying to get easy yards. He is on offense, so we're just trying to get easy stops, essentially calling cover 3 cloud. And what this will do is it'll just make them really not be able to get any big plays because you have people everywhere to make tackles. As you could see there, everything short and over the middle is kind of taken away if you switch stick it the right way. And then the 4 double or nothings kind of make pressure for me, so it lets me have all my focus on kind of like the what's it called, like the coverage, sound coverage, not giving up one play touchdowns. Notice how we deep half that top right safety because they cannot fade route the tight ends. So obviously, fade routes are the #1 beater for, cover 2 or deep halves or whatever. He right there, he just rolls out. So nice play. Jukes out, dumbs out my defender by the juke, and he gets on the board. So next time, thing we could do differently, contain that, that his strong hand side with the QB, and honestly just continue to user that route instead of trying to switch stick off the user onto the lower defender there. So let's just see, can we just make offense simple and easy? And if so, let's see if we could get a stop after we score and just try and, really manage the game from there. So let's see. Alright, he kicked deep. We take it down at the 35, go down. You'll see if the kick is going into the end zone, you should probably just sit down, let it happen, get to that 35. It's very hard to return it there sometimes, so just take it at the 35. When I'm kicking the ball, I like to just, try to not let them get it at the 35. Right here, he's in one high safety. He's got lumberjack on his defensive tackle. I don't know what that's all about, but we're just going to kind of run, dive, hope we could get some yards. If not, though, we have very good combos for one high safety. One high safety means cover 1 or cover 3. If you guys watch the videos, most of the time they're in cover 3, but these corner routes do beat man and zone, so they really are guarded by nothing in the game. So if it is, cover 3, the streaks will be open, or the corner routes. And yeah, the corner route on the left is there versus cover 3. And let's see now, we flip. Important thing, we have the red corner on the short side so that when we audible to split close pro, It is very, very, it has a ton of room to run, and it just spaces out for my plays very nicely. Cool thing we like to do, he just flipped his guy, so we almost had numbers on the left, but we're just going to run the ball anyways here. So run it up the gut with Merritt, or it was a stretch, but we cut it up the middle because we kind of just, looked at how the run was developing. And this is a very, very, very effective offense. You just have to know when to call what, essentially. One high safety again. I can't get my hot routes off in time. We're just going to call it anyways because the corner route is so good. Trying to get that play in before the quarter ended there. You just got to stem those routes all the way down and then hit them. They beat men in zone. Have short and elite on your receivers and your tight end. And then, this Miami package, it lets me put my fullback in my depth chart, which you could put a running back there, and it puts him at my left tight end spot, which is good for, the 2 running back personnel. Lets me audible to I-form close, I-form slot, split close pro, many other various I-form and under center running formations that I like to use against, any kind of defense really. So one high safety again. These streaks also, if the streaks get covered by the vertical hooks, the running back angle route will get, into a sweet spot where the vertical hooks get pulled super far back, and see how it happened there. The vertical hooks got pulled really deep, so the running back just hits a very, very nice pocket where no defender is really there because obviously the deep blue is way back and the yellow zones get pulled. So right here, we're going to abbreviate this combo and we're going to put curl routes because we're kind of close to the end zone. So we're not really going to have the potential to throw them in the seams, but it'll still keep those vertical hooks up top. If that, see how the vertical hook on the left, other people call them vert hooks, but just so you guys know what I'm talking about. That is why we hit the Texas underneath, because all the zones are getting pushed back. Honestly, you could have a post, you could have an in route, anything to pull the zones back and give that, sweet spot for the Texas route. It'll work. So I'd like for you guys to get really creative with this. It is a 2x2, pistol deuce close, and it really lets you be creative. So a lot of the things I like to do, the corners on both sides in the play, so you could flood either side of the field, and you could run mesh concepts. So flood and mesh are the 2 most popular route concepts in football and even Madden too. So so try and incorporate the concept you see in my scheme to your own one, depending on if you run, my scheme or if you run your own scheme. Just try and be creative with it. So under center, even though this is goal line, we still have the under center defense and loop around to the run, try and shoot in there. He just hits a nice hole there. Honestly, hats off to him for being able to hit that hole. If he continues to stay in this, we might have to get into a heavier set, but he is not going to stay in it. We are going to contain, his strong hand side. User this guy, hover over the center, loop around if he runs the ball. If not, switch stick to the open routes. Everything's kind of taken away. And since that little sit route in the middle on the curl was taken away by our yellow zones, we did not want to user the yellow zone and switch stick onto him and go off of that curl to defend the in route. We just switch stick down to our middle third because nobody was occupying him. And that is a very, very, pro tip there. Right here, he's just kind of, toting the ball on me. So we're going to have to be able to, instead of diving like we are, we're going to have to just loop around a little bit further and really just force him to get, 5 yards instead of potentially giving him a first down. So that's kind of what we're trying to do. He is in Y off trips nasty. It runs inside zone, get around for the run shoot, kind of trip him, and then he slows down. Beautiful stuff there. That is what hovering over the center and looping around, the defensive tackle, getting through that, B or C or D gap, and that'll really do a lot for you in the run defense department. So 5 wide here. If you guys watched when I played Sieve, something I like to do is just kind of rush 3 people and have enough defenders to be able to really be creative. And just, you see how right there the double or nothing still shedded even when I rush 3. That is what'll happen. So you might as well just zone out a guy if he's in 5 wide or some spread out formation like that. So that is something cool that we kind of came up with on our own. I like to take credit for things when I come up with them. So that is what we do. Just man up a few guys and put you know, the defensive lineman of your choice. I like to put the defensive lineman, I like to man up the 2 receiver side, put a cloud on the outside corner, and then a vertical hook on the defensive end. That way I don't even have to worry about that side. All I have to do is worry about the other side. So that is something cool as well there. So not a lot of the time you'll see people punt in Madden, but here we are. That is what this defense and offense will do to you. We're going to go around, see if we could go around this way with Merritt, 99 COD. See if we could get, you know, positive yardage out of it. We kind of made it back, like made back our, you know, investment by running backwards out of it. So sometimes you won't get, you know, your one play touchdown. You just got to be willing to take the yards they give you. And that's kind of the basis of this offense sometimes. As you could see there, we had a massive hole up the middle, but he was able to make like a dive suction attempt at a tackle there. Right here, though, as you could see, he's in 1 high safety. We're going to go away from our double streaks combo. Right here, he's going to have to pick, I'm assuming it's cover 3. So that guy with the fire emoji above his head, he's going to have to pick between the corner out or the drag. And then we have backside options and seam options as well. Right there, he picks the corner. We take the drag, possession catch it. Not a ton of yards, but gets me the first down, keeps the chains moving, gives me more attempts at, you know, big plays to move the ball down the field, especially with 46 seconds left here. So that is the goal sometimes. Sometimes you're in a spot where you just need to get that first down so that you have more shots at, you know, moving down the field. Sometimes it just works out that way. I hate to say it, but yeah. So this combo is a flood concept. It has, instead of the drag post, we're doing drag inverted whip, and pretty much the inverted whip is just shorter, and then it lets me have Davis on this deep curl, which they will think it is like a seam streak for the time being until it really stops into a tricky location for them to be able to continue to use her, because they have those drags and inverted whips coming across their face. So pause, yeah, so very good, Henry. So there we go. Just take your curl, maybe burst out a little bit with Merritt, try and go on like a 360 angle, and then call timeout. All right, I don't even know what I just said, but we're moving the ball down the field. That is what is important here. He's in dollar, so like he's giving up the run, but since there's only 20 seconds left, it really would not be smart to do that. Right here, we're just gonna have a corner route. We could have hit the corner. We're gonna QB juke, sadly though, and then slide down. Here we are at the 9. We're not gonna be able to let the ball get anywhere shorter than the end zone here, because, you know, if we do get tackled, it's just gonna run out half, and we're not gonna have, you know, our attempt to score the touchdown. So we're gonna have to really push the ball to the end zone here. This combo, it has the corner route that'll get pulled. So like that outside corner is the only one who could guard Thornton on this, you know, motion wheel. And then cool thing, that corner is also gonna leave this corner route wide open, because the guy inside of him, this guy here, he is not gonna be able to make it out to the corner. So, and then we just have backside options as well that'll hopefully get to the goal line by the time we need it to. Okay, good defense. And okay, the streak sat in a perfect location. I just overthrew it somehow. Pretty unlucky stuff there. But he did not have like a yellow zone on that right side, I don't think, at least. So we might be able to go back to that formation and just hit him in the seams on this play. Or yeah, now that he moved that linebacker out, I'm liking just seam streaks. And with these seam streaks, we'll go a wheel. That way the wheel could also get in the seam. We're going to be looking streaks over the middle. If the streaks are not there, we are going to just look. Don't mind the out route on Thornton. I'm not really looking there at all. It literally would be a last-ditch effort. But we're looking seams, wheels, or streaks. And then if the corner's there, obviously cool. But woo! Close window there. Yikes. I think we'll just take our 3 here. Honestly, this guy punted. I hate to do it. I hate to be the guy who takes 3 in ranked. But sometimes it just plays out that way, guys. And I hope you guys are willing to take what they give you as well. Right there, we just had 3 points. We'll take what he gives me. Take your 3 points, and we are receiving here. So really just going to be able to score a touchdown. The clock will be moving during that process, and it'll put him in a tougher situation to be able to have to go down the field quicker, as opposed to if, it was only a 7-point game and he kind of had that more, safety blanket, to be able to have, if he scores a touchdown, it would be tied. He could have went for 2, if it got to that scenario. So good thing we just took our points, and we'll just try to look at Krosky gliding out there, man. That is special. 99 COD. You only really need 90 COD to speed burst, but he gets free 0 AP human joystick, which is also another big reason he used that on the team. And right here is slot corners on the left, so we're going to go flood concept to the right here. We're just going to really have all the routes going to the right, maybe QB juke out to the right here, and we'll take the drag. Honestly, the corner could have been there, but safer of the 2 options is the drag, especially if he's just wide open there. So sometimes got to be willing to live with that. And yep, he's in 1 high safety again. We're going to go to our bread and butter combo until he stops it. So now that we don't have the clock working against us, we could call literally whatever we want. Look for one of these 2 streaks to be open. The right. Oh, man. I just accidentally pass-led that just a little bit too far. I forgot that I turned on small pass lead increase. I might just turn that right back off, honestly. I was messing around with that in practice mode, and I forgot to turn that off. So yeah, if I'm gonna throw those streaks like that, I gotta either A, learn how to do it in small, or B, go back to what I had originally. So hover of the center, just make the run shoot. We did not make the run shoot. Oh man, this guy is like not good at all, because he, obviously when you punt, they're not like a good player essentially. So it's really just got to force him in a situation where he can't get easy yards, because anyone could get easy yards, but only the elite could get hard yards. So is he manually chewing the clock out here? He might be. We just switch stick that and drop the pick. Beautiful. If you keep doing the right thing a certain amount of times, eventually the right thing will happen to you. So that is just, the thought process sometimes when you get unlucky in these big games. Not a big game, but just what I'm trying to say is when I do play big games, that's like a cool mindset to have as well. So he goes post and drag across the middle. I just got to, focus over the middle of the field here. I tried to do a little bit too much, switch sticking out there. Something important that I'm doing here is I am actually stop the run. Good. I am actually flipping to make sure that the middle third is on the wide side against the 2x2 formation. That way the seam is not open if they double streak. So right here, since I'm not even in cover 3, I don't really need to flip, because we have, the yellow zone out there, but we will still do it just for the sake of the video. And he throws it at the flat, knocked out. Beautiful. That is why we're in cover 2 here. All the middle and the sideline short is covered. You just got to really take care of, the deep middle and the deep, whatever. So he goes flat. He goes quick flat, and it's just taken away. And he takes his 3. So pretty interesting opponent we got here. He's taking his 3 and he's punting. So pretty scary stuff here. Let's just see if we could go down, score, and really just... Whew, that was tight there, man. But you know what? Let's just see if we could go down and score and not make that same mistake by forgetting about our pass lead settings. All right, so a thing I got to work on, or a thing that you just want to be good at in Madden no matter what, is you don't want, you don't want to stop yourself. And what I mean by that is, obviously, this guy has no idea how to stop my offense. He doesn't have, he doesn't know this offense. So, you just got to be able to not make mistakes that will, you don't want to lose a game because you did bad as opposed to your opponent doing good. And that really is something that, a lot of players who play this game competitively could agree on. It's a lot worse when you lose a game that your opponent didn't really do good in, as opposed to a game where your opponent just played perfectly. Yeah, it is demoralizing sometimes when you just get blown out and your opponent's playing an amazing game. But since we, I was trying to teach, but we actually just forgot again that we have small pass lead increase on accidentally. So like, I'd really hope that we remember to turn that off after this game, because that is really costing me here to be able to pass lead these corner routes. So let's just really try and hone it in and take what he's given me without, pass leading. So I like to, it's kind of like a, it's a muscle memory thing that I built to pass lead with the left bumper, or the left trigger, I mean, on the, the stem down corner routes. But if I do it when I'm on pass lead increase small, that'll actually overthrow it, as opposed to when you're on none. Sometimes it won't, or every time it doesn't overthrow the corner route, but when you're on small, sometimes it will. So I don't know. I'm still trying to figure it out if it's worth it to have that on, because that'll, the small increase, it actually helps when you're playing cover 0 or cover 1. So that is something that I have to really research into, because we got MCS elims coming up this week, so that's something I really got to get down. Right here, we're just going to run the ball until he figures out a way to stop it. We're just going to hit the edge. Hopefully we can't do it there, but we'll take our 7 yards a pop, man. And this RPO is amazing here. So since, we have the wheel on both sides of the field, it'll just do a really, nice job if Thornton can block this outside corner on the right. That way we could just have like an edge to the sideline for 9 yards right there. Beautiful stuff. Yeah, so really just got to make the game easy for yourself on offense. This guy probably is nowhere near my skill level. I'm not trying to be cocky or anything. I'm just, you saw him punt, you saw him take his 3 in that scenario. When a lot of the, the pro players I'm used to playing, they would not, settle for that. We're just going to run it in here. I'm not taking shots at my opponent either. I'm just saying, like, sometimes you got to just put your foot, you got to put your boot down on someone sometimes. And that is what we're really going to try and induce when we're playing defense on this drive here. We're going to play complementary, sound coverage, and let's just really try to predict what he's going to do with our switch stick and cover 3 cloud here. Make an easy tackle here. Could have been a fumble. We'll always take the hit stick there. That is something I like to do as well. Just the little things. Hit stick on your, the kick return, because if you have a bunch of guys there, if you miss the hit stick, you'll still probably get the tackle anyways. So you might as well take that risk. It's a really, really small risk to take, because, okay, he's breaking tackles. Make the tackle, man. I like to take risks that don't have much consequence behind it, if that makes sense. Because if it goes right, it goes right, which is really cool. But if it goes wrong, you're not really down on yourself that much, because you're not losing much. So right here, he's going double vertical routes on the right. We kind of just followed it until we saw what he was doing with it. So that is something that you got to look out for when you're in cover 3 cloud. If they're going double vertical routes, you could assume it's either like streak post, streak corner, or double streak. So that is something that I really have an itch for when I'm, playing defense. So right here, he calls verticals, throws it up to Porter. Hopefully he just swats it down. That's fine with me, man. I'd rather take that than him aggressive catching me. So he's actually got Kurt Warner at QB, which is really interesting. I don't even know, how good this card really is. Right here, he just calls verticals, and he's throwing a pick at me. But, Abdul Carter, pretty cool stuff that we're able to get that, the pressure to come in there. And since these guys are a little bit less advanced and ranked, I like to call cover 2, Tampa 2 on 4th down here, and we're going to man up. Let's see. We'll man up the wide side so that the cover 2 really can't get exploited, on the other side. So really just going to call this. Watch for any, routes that'll beat this, which will be maybe streak fade on the right, any vertical route from the right to the left, and we take those both away. So notice how we had 2 vertical inside breaking routes on the, the side that did have the zones and not the man ups. And the side with the man ups, just went to the side that had the zone, so we didn't even need to, you know, pay attention to them. So that is just something cool. Tampa 2 on 4th or 3rd down sometimes, man up 2 people. That really will give them a hard time in these like ranked gauntlet games, all that kind of stuff. When you're playing like a pro, they'll kind of pick up on it a little bit more. And now that I'm saying it in the videos, obviously I don't do it as much in the pro games because, you know, obviously if you're calling cover 2 every big down of the game, they're eventually just going to call the perfect play. So really got to be careful when you're calling that. But, you know, obviously when you're playing like these ranked guys, it'll be a little bit better of a mix up, as opposed to, you know, when you're doing it, you know, when you finally make like a big important game. So right here, we're just going to call a very basic play. And this will do really attack the middle of the field, the short middle and the deep middle, because the vertical hooks could only guard the deep or the short. And right there, the corner is just there. That is the cool thing. We set up very intricate combos sometimes, but you know, if you have your first read, it's just so beautiful sometimes to have your first read in such an intricate play. We're nearing the end of the game here. We're really just going to go down because it's more valuable to take, you know, the time and his timeouts. He might just let this run. We'll take this 30 seconds to really thank you guys for coming through the video. Me and Hexseed run a Discord server where we run tournaments, money tournaments for free entry. Amazing stuff there. We answer all questions in that Discord server. We have a community where a lot of people are trying to become competitive players. You could join that as well in there. And my ebook is coming out soon. I will advertise that heavily. Maybe we'll have like a, you know, a link in the next video, and we'll kind of really get into the specifics of that over the course of the next week. So I really do appreciate you guys for coming through the video, and I'll see you guys in the next one.